Hello everybody, it's JT Sports back to you guys with another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Detroit Lions impact players for the 2019 NFL season. The first player that I have on this list is wide receiver Kenny Galladay. Last season, he had 1,063 receiving yards, 70 receptions, and 5 touchdowns. Pretty much the best wide receiver on this Detroit Lions team. Very underrated receiver. Very good in the red zone. Also has the ability to make a couple guys miss. Has the threat to take it back. So this season, I'm expecting him to have 90 receptions, over 1,000 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns, and I think he's going to make it to the Pro Bowl. Um, he's fairly young, and I think this is the year that he finally has that. Yes, I have arrived. I am elite. I am a wide receiver that the league needs to take notice of, and I think he's going to have that kind of a season next year. Next up, I have tight end TJ Hawkinson. Now, the Detroit Lions took him 8th overall in this year's NFL draft to go along with fellow tight end Jesse James. Now, TJ Hawkinson is supposed to be fairly athletic. He has been receiving a lot of Gronkowski comparisons. I didn't watch a lot of Iowa play this past college football season, but I mean, he is super athletic. He does have fairly good hands. So if he is everything that people hype him up to be, he is going to be a very good target for Matthew Stafford to throw to. And CJ Hawkinson, if he's the next Gronkowski, or he doesn't even have to be the next Gronkowski. He just has to be 80% of Gronkowski, and that is not even 80%, 55%. Heck, even 50% of Gronkowski is pretty doggone good. So I think TJ Hawkinson is going to have a okay rookie season, 500 receiving yards, 40 receptions, and 3 touchdowns is my expectations for TJ Hawkinson. Just because he's a rookie, and he's also going to be splitting reps and playing time with Jesse James, who is also pretty good in his own right. So I think he's going to be in for a pretty okay rookie season. Nothing spectacular, nothing amazing, just pretty okay at the most. Next up, I have halfback Kerryon Johnson, who played in 10 games, then got injured. Was the Detroit Lions' first 100-yard rusher since forever. I think, being realistically, the last time they had a 100-yard rusher was Reggie Bush in 2013, and that has been 6 years ago. So Kerryon Johnson has been the saving grace at the halfback position for the Detroit Lions. Has 641 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, and have 5.4 yards per carry. He is going to be the lead halfback for the Detroit Lions, and he is going to be the halfback that I'm going to draft in my fantasy football league. Now, Kerryon Johnson, I think he's going to have a Pro Bowl caliber season. He's going to be the workhorse back for the Detroit Lions. He's going to have over 1,000 rushing yards. He probably would have had that if he never got injured. He's going to average over 5 yards per carry, and he's going to have 10 touchdowns or more this year. He's going to have a breakout season for the Detroit Lions, and he is the best player that the Detroit Lions have on the offensive side of the football, in my opinion. Next up, we have quarterback Matthew Matthew Stafford. But this guy, all he does is pass stats. Doesn't this guy? I swear on everything, right? You guys can look this up. Matthew Stafford is 5-53 in primetime games throughout his whole entire career. That is freaking pathetic. Last season, he had 3,777 rushing passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, completed 66.1% of his passes. This guy doesn't win you the big game. He doesn't. He'll have all these comebacks in useless games, but I mean, despite not having the best talent around him, right? That's the only argument you guys are going to use. You Detroit Lions fans are going to keep on defending this guy, Matthew Stafford, or Matthew Stat Pafford. One of Detroit Lions fans, right? Some Detroit Lions fans understand, but some don't understand, right? You paying this guy is severely overpaid and doesn't win any big games. You guys are not going to win the Super Bowl with Matthew Stat Pafford. Why in God's name is he still the quarterback for the Detroit Lions? He should have been moved on from a long time ago. All he's going to do is pad stats. He might get you to the playoffs. He might win you one playoff game, but other than that, he's not going to take you to the Super Bowl. He's not going to take the Lions to the promised land. And yes, I think the Detroit Lions still have a chance winning the NFC North. The division is wide open, it's very tightly close. The Detroit Lions are fairly improved, but if the Detroit Lions don't come close to competing for a wild card spot, then Matthew Stafford is the problem. He now has talent around him, has a solid offensive line, has a solid defense, has a defensive minded coach. So all Matthew Stafford has to do is go out there and get the job done. But if he can't do that, I think this is a sign after this season that the Detroit Lions don't make it to the playoffs that it's time to move on from Matthew Stafford. Next up, we have Damian Snacks Harrison, who they traded for from the New York Giants. This was an absolute steal. 81 tackles, 3.5 sacks. Very good. He's not a guy who you're going to expect to, have 10 sacks at that defensive tackle position. He's in there to clog up those running lanes, those A and B gaps, and he's there to, swallow up the running lanes. He's just a big guy. This guy is insanely huge. I actually saw this guy a few months ago. This guy is freaking huge. And when I mean huge, if you never saw this dude in person, man, this dude is freaking huge. So imagine, right? This guy is already a big human being. Now imagine how big this guy is on the football field with freaking pads on. This guy is insanely large. Now I actually saw this guy in person. This guy is huge, man. He's going to have a big season for the Detroit Lions. I think he has an all-pro caliber season. And I think he's going to have a resurgence. And he's going to be one of the best defensive tackles in all of football after the 2019 NFL season. That's the kind of impact I think he's going to have. Matt Patricia, he fits well in that system. He likes his defensive linemen big. And he mostly likes his defensive tackles with the ability to stop the run. Those are my expectations going into Snacks Harrison. Even if he doesn't live up to that all-pro season, I think he's going to have a pretty good season. And don't be surprised if you see him in the Pro Bowl. Next up, we have defensive end Tre Flowers, who the Detroit Lions signed in free agency from the New England Patriots. 55 tackles, 7.5 sacks, 2 pass deflections, 3 forced fumbles. You're reuniting him with Matt Patricia. So it's going to remain to be seen, man. They don't have Ziggy Ansah anymore, so Tre Flowers is going to be that #1 guy. But in my opinion, I don't think 7.5 sacks is good, in my opinion, for Tre Flowers. I think 10 sacks or nothing is the expectations that Detroit Lions fans need to have for Tre Flowers. You're paying this guy a lot of money, so if this guy can't get 10 sacks or at least 9 sacks, then he's not worth the money if he can't get that, because this guy has been brought in to be more than just a pass rusher. He's been brought in to be a game wrecker, and he's supposed to be a guy who's going to change the game for the Detroit Lions on the defensive side of the ball. So he better be a guy who can be able to get to the quarterback and get at least 10 sacks this year. That's my expectations for Tre Flowers going into 2019. Next up, we have linebacker Jarrad Davis. Jarrad Davis had 100 tackles last season, 6 sacks, 5 pass deflections, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery. Thought he was very good last season. And this year, he's going to have another productive year. Think he probably has about the same stats. He'll probably be top 10 in the NFL in tackles. He'll probably have about 120. He'll probably have near the same amount of sacks. This guy does it all, man. Very good in coverage. Also, very good at blitzing the quarterback when they send him on blitzes. And Matt Patricia loves to mix it up with his play calling, loves to send those exotic blitzes and stuff like that. So I think Jarrad Davis is going to be in for a pretty productive season in 2019. Next up, we have cornerback Darius Slay, who proved to be one of the best cornerbacks in all of football again last season. 43 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 17 pass deflections. You're not going to find any better cornerbacks in the NFL than Darius Slay. He's been doing this for the last few years now. Top 10 cornerback in the NFL. That's not up for debate. Top 5. I would say he's a top 5 cornerback as well. Not many better man-to-man cornerbacks in the NFL that you will find from Darius Slay. He fits into that Matt Patricia defense so well, because when Matt Patricia was with the New England Patriots, they liked their cornerbacks to be very good in man-to-man and also press coverage. Darius Slay is going to be in for another season. I thought he would have made it to the Pro Bowl last season, but he should make it to the Pro Bowl this year. I'm 80% sure that he will make it to the Pro Bowl. If he doesn't make it to the Pro Bowl this season, putting up the stats that he did last season, then I will consider it a robbery. Next up, we have cornerback Justin Coleman. Now, Justin Coleman is a if you're not a Seattle Seahawks fan, then you're not familiar with Justin Coleman. Justin Coleman was graded by Pro Football Focus as the best slot corner, or aka nickel corner, however you want to pronounce it, in the NFL. Now, 55 tackles, 1 interception, 10 pass deflections, very good. Going to be interesting to see if Matt Patricia lines him up at his natural nickel cornerback position or slot cornerback position, or is he, with the money that he's going to be being paid, as number 2 cornerback? Because it's very rare do we see cornerbacks who are very good at as a nickel cornerback, then they go on to new teams and free agency, they end up having to step up and be that number 2 cornerback or number 1 cornerback, and they don't live up to it. We have seen it so many times in the past. So I'm going to be interested to see if Justin Coleman is going to be another one of those nickel cornerbacks who end up being very good at that slot cornerback position, end up having to be the number 2 cornerback, and then they end up fading away into the NFL, and then they become average or below average cornerback. So let me know what you guys think about this list down in the comment section down below. Make sure to like the video and subscribe for more NFL videos and content. And thanks for watching.